Are the stereotypes of different European nationalities true? Much more than you realize. We used to play a game called Spot the German, and it used to kind of freak our American friends out because we could always, no matter where we were, spot the German. And I finally explained the trick to, I said, just look for the person who looks a little bit like they might be an American, but something's off. Like they'll have white tennis shoes and black socks on, or they'll be dressed fairly casually, but the shirt is too tight. It worked every time. It's pretty funny. I thought it was funny that even before I could speak Italian very well, we were in Venice, and this guy would not believe that we were from the U.S. because we had learned to just buy the local clothes, and so he's like, but you can't be. I mean, look at your shoes. I was wearing like black Bally shoes, and he just they really, Italians really appreciate your attempts to fit in. The French, on the other hand, are absolutely determined to make it clear that you don't fit in, no matter how flawlessly you speak French or mimic them or do things their way. It's always really annoying because even if you speak, bad French, they're totally unable to understand it. You're just complete. You speak bad Italian, they don't always get it, but they try. The Germans are actually extremely helpful. If you speak any German at all, they're like super happy, and the French are just like, I have no idea what you're saying. Please do not butcher our beautiful language. Makes me laugh. The Spanish are super friendly. They're cool to be around, personally, but they're just, everything's filthy. I mean, nobody fixes anything or picks up anything. I thought Italy was, kind of bad that way. It took me a little getting used to, but Spain is on a whole nother level in that regard. And the big thing, the thing that was tough getting used to in Italy was the way that they just don't do stuff. We got our refrigerator repaired, and it took them, it should have been, one visit, boom, fixed. It took like 3 or 4 visits, but in fairness, they did get the whole thing done in like 2 weeks. And at the time, we didn't realize it because my wife was saying, "Oh my gosh, I mean, it took us 2 weeks to get the refrigerator fixed." And our friends are like, 2 weeks? How did you do that? That was amazingly quickly. I was like, uh-oh. But so anyhow, it's the stereotypes are not just true. They're so ridiculously true that you actually start to ignore people who are like, "Oh, that's just a stereotype." You're like, stereotypes are all true, like they exist for a reason. Oh yeah, that was the thing I saw up in Switzerland once. We were going to a friend's house and going through this like narrow thing, and this woman was vacuuming the sidewalk. it was crazy. Yeah, and the Portuguese are like insanely nationalist. They could be a third generation immigrant somewhere else, and they're Portuguese, and they're daughters are only allowed to date Portuguese and that kind of thing. So anyhow, yeah, read the most insane driving I've ever seen was actually in Florence. The all the mopeds and motorcycles just swarm. I mean, you feel like it's like you're surrounded by this swarm, and they're all over, and they pay no attention to cars. So it's just crazy. So